Hello, Majd. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
So, hello, my name is Majd Samir. I was born in Iraq, born and raised in Iraq. Moved to a few countries in the Middle East, and now I'm situated in Australia, Sydney. Joined Husters University in December of 2023, and now I've come to be quite successful
Mm-hmm.
throughout that journey for the past few months, I could say at least.
All right. So technically, a decent amount in Hustle University, almost 6 months at this point. Actually, probably around 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's an interesting place you were born. Might be
Mm.
the first Iraqi I've interviewed. So, what was that like actually growing up there?
Yeah, so for the first, I think it was 5 years of my life, I had to live in Iraq. Obviously, I was born there, and it got to a point where I had to leave because of war. And yeah, it was. I lost a lot of family members during that time, but I had to move to Syria. Once we got to Syria, we stayed for around 2.5 years, and we were actually denied moving to a safer country like Canada or like Australia because they thought we had malicious intent. They thought we were they thought we were dangerous. So it took another 2.5 years in Lebanon in order to then move to Australia from there. And when I arrived here, I was about 10.
Wow. How has that shaped you? Actually, going through that at that young age. Does that give you a different perspective that you can notice yourself compared to other people?
Look, I like to say that when you have challenges in life and you experience life at its worst, once you do work hard and get to that better stage in your life, you can experience it a lot better. And it feels a lot better than if you were born into a good environment and born into like a rich family to then experience all these good things. It, I feel like it gives you a better feeling if you've started from somewhere rough, and which is, I could say that because my father pretty much spent all his money trying to save us from the war that was happening in those countries. Arrived here with little to no money, and yeah, I have nothing but respect for him, and I'm just trying to return the favor.
Crazy. Yeah. And then when you say returning the favor, how's that been going? Let's see, what plans did you have before you actually joined Hustle University, before you knew it was a thing? And then we'll get into how that's changed since.
I made the biggest switch ever. So from years 11 to 12, which is the final 2 years of high school, I had such a straight plan of going to medicine and becoming a doctor, right? Um, I got to the point where I did get into the course that I needed, right? But then during that transition into university, I kept seeing this bald guy on my For You page on Instagram, on TikTok, and everywhere. And don't get me wrong, I've always been kind of interested in business. I took business as one of my subjects. The only thing is, I was so convinced that medicine was the right thing for me. But then I started considering my choices, and I saw that there were people succeeding from this thing called Hustlers University. And I'm like, okay, well, my university and medicine thing is going to take around 7 to 8 years just to be able to start making money. And my goal, my goal at that point was to start changing my parents' lives now. I didn't want to wait 8 years. I could not pull my father and my mother through that again. Yeah, so it was a clear choice what I had to do. I had to join. And at the start, I was so determined to make money. And then, to be completely honest, I fell off. I fell off for the first 2 months of being in the real world because university assignments were taking over. I had other stuff on the side from my job that were just consuming my time. And at that point, I decided, you know what? I need to get a hold of the resources that I have, the time management things in the Houses University, and I used everything I could. I took around 2 weeks to just replan my schedule, see what I can do. And after that, I started hammering so much more time into Hustlers University. And it was only just recently that it paid off. And I'm just happy for that. And the only reason why I'm happy is because now I'll be able to get my father his surgery that he needs to uh, get his new teeth, because he right now he's suffering at work, man. He can barely like eat properly. So yeah,
Wow. Um, so how much is it that you've made then because of what you went through in the Hustle University?
yeah. So as a result of Hustlers University, I've made just over $10,000.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As how old?
I started as 17, and now I'm 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you're able to pay for your father's surgery. That's insane. What do
Yeah.
your parents think about what you were doing?
My mother's in love with it. My mother did not think it was gonna work out. She thought I was just wasting my time and money. And my father's always trusted me, even from the start. He didn't believe it, but he trusted me. He
Mm,
knew that I was gonna pull it off, and yeah, my mother is very different, but now she's enjoying it, and she's very happy with what I've done.
all right. What stood out to me was when you said you restructured. You spent 2 weeks restructuring everything to maximize on the time you had, and you
Yeah,
realized that you have more time than you thought. What was it that you actually done and implemented in that
yeah,
time?
yeah. So in the copywriting campus, there's a time management course. I pretty much took every single thing that I needed from that time management course, such as setting smart goals, setting prioritizing the goals that are more important rather than the ones that are urgent. The ones that are more important should come first. So what I done is I took the tasks that I would usually do throughout the day first, which weren't important at all, such as doing my homework, which could be delayed, and set off into like later in the week, and instead put in my G work sessions that I've learned from also Hustlers University from the copywriting campus. I also switched around when I go to the gym. I had to make it a lot earlier in the morning. So now, as a result of that, I get a lot more work done. So before, I used to wake up at around I used to wake up around 10 a.m. and lose so much time throughout the day. So instead, now I wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. each day, and I go to sleep around 10, getting, I don't know, like 12 to 13 hours of work each day,
Hmm.
including like gym and other extracurricular activities.
Hmm.
Yeah, it just really changed. It really changes the game when you know how to manage your time. So it's a really big factor that people need to realize that.
Or because that's such a common thing you hear from people that they say, "Ah, I don't have enough time to work on
Yeah,
this," or
yeah,
"I don't have any energy by the time I've gone to work, then gone to the gym, and yeah, like I can't really do anything else." Like again, it's just as you said, knowing how to reprioritize and how to manage your time properly, and then you're able to do it.
exactly.
Cool. All right, and you said copywriting. So, what was it like learning copywriting?
Oh, I love it.
And how relatable maybe was going to studying medicine to like something like copywriting, or is it completely different?
It's so different. You don't understand. Like the the course in university is such a scam. It's such a scam, and I hope that I'll be able to like leave it soon. The only reason why I'm staying in now is because I've actually like in high school I did pretty well, and they're giving me the scholarship where they pay me like two and a half K every like few months, just because of the scholarship. So I'm waiting till like the next payment, and then I'll be like, okay, I've had enough of you now. I'll do my own thing and I'll save my time. Um, the travel there is around like 3 hours, so it's crazy. Yeah, it does not relate at all. They teach you how to speak, which I don't know how that works because I'm trying to learn about the body and stuff like that. And I just realized it wasn't worth it. Copywriting, on the other hand, I learned how to influence people's minds, target trigger points, pains, and desires, learn how to use imagery in my text, just learn how to influence, and it's such a powerful weapon that you can have in your arsenal when you know how the brain works. If you take like a month to learn how the brain works, you'll win at copywriting. That's
Hmm.
all it takes. And obviously, Hustlers University teaches that in the copywriting campus.
That's a funny thing I've heard from a video I watched about a review of us as university. One of the things was like, I just there's a lot of lessons on mindset. I don't want to look at the mindset lessons. I want to like get into how to make money, but you're missing the point. Like
Yeah,
such a big part of that is your mind.
exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good that you mentioned that. And how did you go about getting clients?
Yeah, so I followed Professor Andrew's outreach method. So in the start, I did not think it was going to work. Warm outreach. I thought it was stupid, to be honest. But when I was being ignorant. I was being arrogant. When I actually started to do it properly and efficiently and analyzing my work and then sending outreaches, doing good follow ups, I got around two clients that were interested in working with me in the first 2 weeks of like me trying to actually get those clients. Because there's a
Hmm.
difference between trying and just like wanting to get it. Like I at the start, yeah, I was trying. Like I was sending a few outreach emails, I was sending DMs, but then I wanted to get a client because I'm like I'm falling behind. I've been in it for around 3 months now, and I still don't have a client. There's something that I'm doing wrong. I started using resources um, from the campus. I started asking for help, and yeah, it's really important to ask for help. At the start, I was trying to do it all by myself. I was trying to be a lone wolf. Lone wolves don't succeed by themselves. So yeah, it's mainly through warm outreach and improving my outreach that I got those clients.
Hmm. And when you actually got a reply from them and they were interested in what you were doing, did you get in a sales call with them or did you close the deal through text? What was the process there?
Yeah, so it was a few days ago that I closed this client that I had set up a call with. So this there was this thing that the professor did in the copywriting campus called Miracle Week, and during this week we set a really good goal that was really hard to get to the point where we had to use every single resource we had in order to achieve that goal. My one was to make $2,000, and because of this sales call, I had to do everything I could in order to convince the client that he had to pay me upfront for the services I was going to provide him because I showed him how important and valuable the service I was going to provide for him to achieve his desired outcome. And as a result of that, I got a $500 bonus, as as Professor Andrew told me. Like I didn't even know it was doable in a week's time. I thought he was gonna just have to pay me by commission or pay me by the end of the project, but I managed to pull off the upfront payment close, and yeah, that was amazing.
Hmm. So yeah, congratulations on that.
Thanks so much.
Um, and you said about that client, what other clients were there? And was it also landing them through call or was that like the main client? What is there any more to add to that basically?
Oh yeah, so the first client I ever got was it was just a local barber, and it sounds like a really bad thing to work with, right? But you can actually make a lot more than you think from just a really small business, but in a local area. So this barber had I don't know how many followers on Instagram. I reached out through Instagram
Mhm.
because he was a friend of one of the people I knew that had a business. So I reached out to him. I told him, okay, obviously, by the content you're posting, by the people that you're in competition with, you're trying to get more attention. And I asked him, like, are you able to handle this many clients that come in like each day, each week? He's like, yeah, of course I can. I'm like, well, okay, all right, I'll get you those clients. So we ended off on a commission deal uh, with the sales at the end of the month, right? So with every, what was it? I forgot the percentages, but with every like sale that he did, with every cut that he did, I got a certain percentage. And by the end of it, by the end of the month, I earned it was like 5,000 something, 5,000 something just by the commission deal.
Mhm.
And yeah, after I showed him that he could have had so many more clients than he had originally, he was just so surprised. And
Mhm.
yeah, and then I had to obviously upgrade to bigger and better clients, and that's when I got this client.
Cool, cool. All right. So yeah, evolving, as you're saying, upgrading clients. Now you know what you're capable of doing. You're capable of the value you're providing. So
Mm,
you can start charging more, start doing more, have testimonials probably as well from the
of
previous
course,
clients.
yeah,
So
that's the
there's
main.
so much further you can take it. And on that note, where do you see this heading for you in short term, medium term, long term, and what plans do you have?
Short term, look, by the end, let's say mid June, I would have hoped to have made over $10,000 for my client, so that I could um, go get into the rainmaker section of the copywriting campus, which is when you actually get to work with the professor himself, get to work with the captains, and you get to get so many useful resources from there. And I've heard that every single person in that rainmaker section knows exactly what you know, so there's no excuse not to be able to get in there. And yeah, in terms of midterm, or actually, I'll say long term. By the end of the year, I would have hoped to have made over 100K. 100K just to be able to give my parents the nice summer vacation they've always wanted, which they've never got, to be fair. They've never been able to like travel properly other than escaping countries,
Mhm.
which was honestly, it was a really bad experience, but he had to do what he had to do, my father. So I'll give him what he deserves for his hard work, and I hope to bless him by the end of the year with that vacation.
Mhm. Beautiful that you have the potential to give back to your family, and as you said, you don't have to wait like 8, 10 years, whatever it is, until you finish like university, because who
Yeah,
knows in that time like where how much more you can do with the resources you have now. Like imagine yourself with what you're doing now in 8 to 10 years, and how much more you'll be able to provide for your family and just
exactly.
in general, how much better of a
True.
life you'll have. It's I don't know, it's just insane to hear.
Yeah.
And
It was
you,
either
yeah,
it was either 8 years of work and $200,000 in debt, or
yeah,
8 years of hustlers university and most likely be a millionaire by then, or multi-millionaire.
exactly.
It's it's a clear option.
Ben, it's great to hear how well you're doing though with the situation that you were in before and your family. So yeah,
Think about it.
it just even me, it feels so like it feels so bad. I don't know how else to say it. That like you have to go through that, but as you said yourself, it shapes you into who you are now. Uh, Maybe in a way, since you got through it and got over it, it gives you an advantage over people who haven't gone over it. It just at that time, like it was your life at risk potentially, and just the hardship overall. But
Mhm.
I guess this, as Andrew says, you need that hardship to mold you into a man.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if there's anything we haven't covered. Has your average day changed at all since joining HU? Like, does oh yeah, you said actually that it looks quite a bit different from before you joined. You're actually waking up at 4 a.m. now, doing other things. Is there any more to add there on how different average day is before and after?
Yeah, so before I used okay. So yeah, there's a lot more different than before I joined Hustlers University. I would throw away my time on TikTok. I would scroll on Instagram. I would I would do every degenerate thing you could think of. Once I started to take control of my life, realize that these apps are just rotting my brain. That's all they're doing and just controlling me, like fighting for my attention. I deleted every single one of them. I could not spend another 10 minutes on TikTok, could not spend another 30, like nothing scrolling on Instagram. I just, I can't do it anymore. It feels wrong. It feels wrong because I've made it a habit to work. And I've made it so that my bed, which is right next to me, right there, which I used to just sleep on like the whole day, a place like I've labeled it as a place only for rest, not to lie down and watch TikTok. So my day, if you were just to like replay like 6 months ago or like right before I joined the real world, it would look so much different, man. It would be me right here, like lying down on my back on TikTok, whereas now I was just working on the project that I had to close with my client instead. And it's
Mhm.
so crazy, like how life can change in just such a short amount of time, especially with goals and like what you do in life. I didn't expect it at all, but I'm glad it happened.
All right. And to wrap everything up, then, since this began in HU, what advice would you have to people who are unsure about joining because they're thinking they'll get scammed with the $50?
Yeah, so my main advice is look, when you join, you really need to want to win. Wanting to win is a lot different than trying to win because when you want to win, you will use every resource that you have in Hustlers University. You won't you won't just walk around. You won't just like look around the campuses, switch around every 30 minutes, seeing which one's the best one that's gonna give me money the fastest. You won't be able to be rich in the first like 3 months. That's not going to happen. You might make some money, but you need to have the patience and the discipline to be able to see it through and work, even though you're not seeing any results, to the point where you'll hit that inflection point and eventually get that massive result, get that win that you've always wanted, and then obviously continue it until you see that next inflection point. Just the ability to not be able to quit. Because as he says, like quitters never win and winners never quit. It's there's nothing. It couldn't be like closer to the truth.
Mhm.
So, yeah, just be patient and be disciplined. Build that. Build your character. Use your resources. Ask for help. Don't be ignorant. Don't be arrogant. It will help you in the long term.
Very good answer. And I'd love to do a follow up with you in 3 months, maybe a bit longer if you want. But there's so much potential there for you with the mindset you have, the work ethic that's clearly there. You, it's the sky's the limit. So I'd love to
Yeah,
document your progress
of course,
from
man.
this interview to even maybe continuing doing these follow-ups. So let's say a year's time, and just seeing
Mm,
how much more you'll evolve as a person, how much more you'll make, how much everything will change for you in that time. I mean,
mm,
that would be beautiful to do. But
of course, man.
it was great speaking to you, and
Thank you so much, man.
quite
Likewise.
an insane story. But wish you all the best, and yeah, look forward to the next one.
Thank you so much, brother.